it's the most abused and the most used drug in the world. I come from, my original life was at Yale.
Okay.
So I come from Yale Psychiatric Hospital. And I worked predominantly with patients, mental patients, if I can use that term,
Okay.
and dual patients. So the dual patient is somebody who is mentally ill and has an addiction. So the first thing you do is detox, and then you start working on their mental, disability. The only thing you can detox, if you use that term, is opiates, alcohol, and benzodiazepines. So you can never go into detox for caffeine, for crack, for cocaine, for cigarettes, for coffee, for weed, there's nothing that the government has that they can give you to make you feel better. It becomes conditioned. And whether it's psychological or not, before you go to class now, psychologically, what you want to do is to have your coffee. Mm-hmm. That's like somebody who takes sleeping pills to go to sleep at night, we know, which are technically, the newer versions are not, like, say, physically addicting, they're psychologically. So, I think the hard thing is with addiction in general is that because of withdrawals, it's how long do you want to experience the withdrawals, how much psychologically do you think you really need it. So and the cool thing I'll say is that we do coffee in the mental hospital at Yale, and we do coffee in detox. It's all decaf. We never give, I'll say, people with mental disorders or addiction caffeine. The data that says, oh, it's no good for you now, all of a sudden it's somewhat healthy. They say that coffee might help you with coronary vascular disease later in life.
So basically, like, I'll use the pre-workout kind of if I'm like either working out, doing something kind of later at night, because like, by the end of the day, like, I can be very tired and stuff like that. So I might not have the motivation to either work out or just kind of get stuff done. So I'll normally have it kind of like either early in the mornings or kind of later in the day. And that just kind of gives me like the energy to kind of get up and just, do what I gotta do. Like recommended, much like every other thing, like caffeine has like milligram dosage. So they say like a normal adult should only have like 400 milligrams in a day. A lot of people go over that. Like I know I go over that all the time because just kind of like sometimes you just feel like you always just need more. Like the pre-workout I'm using right now has like 400 milligrams of one scoop, which is very high to have all at once. Even just kind of like psychologically, even if it's not just like the caffeine, just being so used to constantly just like putting the scoop in, drinking it in my shaker bottle and just going to the gym, like that sort of routine is like psychologically like almost like necessary for me, because like I'm like not doing that, I'm like there's something off here, like I can just feel like it's not right. So kind of just like there's definitely a difference. Like even if like I don't even feel like energized, like it just psychologically like I just kind of like need to do it just to kind of get in that zone. Yeah, when I first started taking this sort of stuff, like literally I took it once like 6 in the morning after like literally months of not having any caffeine, and the entire day like I was wired. I couldn't go to sleep, didn't want to like eat anything. Like I was just wired out of my mind. But now like since I'm so like used to it, that like I could take it like later in the day and just have, I'll have a little trouble falling asleep, but like I could fall asleep like pretty easily. So.
Hi, I'm Rosemarie Flood. I live in Bergenfield, New Jersey, with my husband and my 4 daughters. I am a full-time religious ed director at a local church here in Bergenfield. So I usually set my alarm for about 6:20 before my daughters get up for school, and I make an entire pot of coffee, and usually have my first cup at around 7 o'clock. After everyone's gone out of the house, I sit down, I read my paper, I have my first cup of coffee, and I usually head off for work around 9:30. So by the time I head off for work, the pot is done. And then when I get to work, I usually will have 1 or 2 cups more. I mean, I think that's it. Very comforting, very calming, very, like warm and fuzzy just sounds dumb to say, but that's kind of it. Like I feel better when I'm holding my mug of coffee. I do feel like I'm a little irritable, like I can't focus. I think that might be the biggest thing. Like I feel like if someone's talking to me, I feel like I'm not really focusing. And I will say that if for some reason I don't get my cup of coffee in the morning, like for some reason I have to run out and I don't have it, by about 11 o'clock, my head starts to hurt. I stopped for a month, and it was the worst month of my life. It was so, I had a headache for the first few days, and I was fine. I functioned fine without it, but in my head, I was only gonna do it for a month, so I kept saying, all right, well, in 30 days, I get my coffee back, I get my coffee back. So the minute I came back, I started slowly having it back, adding it in. But I will say that when I wasn't drinking it, I didn't crash at 2 o'clock. Like I did feel better. Having said that, the fact that I survived for 30 days means that I don't necessarily need the caffeine. I wasn't any more tired without it.
If you or someone you love is experiencing the addiction to caffeine, call us at our free 24/7 rehab helpline at 888-459-5511.